So, we were talking about constellations, and I want to introduce another concept to you, and that is asterisms. What is an asterism? We can look it up. An asterism is like an unofficial grouping of the sky. Remember, there's 88 official groupings. I'm posting online on Blackboard a list of all 88 constellations for you, so you can go there and look at all 88 constellations right there. I'm going to post it under handouts. And so you're going to have all 88 constellations listed. Asterism is unofficial grouping. So what do we have in this picture right here? Well, if you look at it carefully, you recognize up here the Big Dipper. Well, the Big Dipper is actually not a constellation. There is no constellation Big Dipper. Actually, this is a bear right here. So this is Ursa Major, the big. So it's a bear. It looks something like that. Okay. Interesting enough, different people have looked at the bear differently. Most pictures I see show back end of the bear, hind legs, forepaws, head, and long fluffy tail. Thing is, bears don't have long fluffy tails. H.A. Rey drew this. Now, H.A. Rey was also famous for doing Curious George, but he also drew a constellation star chart. And put the nose of the bear there, and the head, and forepaws, and the back end here, no fluffy tail. And so I think that's really a better representation of it, but that's not how it's normally drawn. At any rate, Ursa Major is the constellation. This group of that stars is an asterism, an unofficial grouping. Okay, there's nothing wrong with an asterism. It's just not one of the 88 official constellations. There are several other asterisms that are out there. For example, if you go out this time of the year, or a little bit later, go out late tonight this time of the year, or sort of towards the end of the summer, high overhead, there's a big triangle, and it's sometimes called the summer triangle. Okay, again, astronomy is very boring how we name stuff. It's 3 different stars: Vega in the constellation Lyra, Deneb in the constellation Cygnus, and Altair, which is the constellation Aquila. Lyra is a harp. Cygnus is actually a swan. There's the head of the swan, long neck, wings, and then tail. And then Altair, that's supposed to be an eagle in flight right there. By the way, Delphinus down here is a dolphin. And in fact, sometimes Cygnus, the swan, is referred to as the Northern Cross because it makes kind of a big cross shape in the sky. And so that's an asterism right here. That actually there's more stars in Cygnus over here, but that part of Cygnus is an asterism called the Northern Cross. The summer triangle is another asterism made up of stars of 3 different constellations right there. And so that's a famous asterism. The star names themselves mean something. For example, Deneb was right near the tail of the swan. And so Deneb actually comes from the Arabic word meaning tail. In Orion, remember we had the 3 stars that made up the belt, and then the shoulder and the feet. The star up here at the top is called Betelgeuse. That means armpit in Arabic. The star near the bottom is Rigel. That means foot. Okay, well, technically I think it means more than just foot, but like lower leg or something. The brightest star in the nighttime sky is Sirius, and it comes from the scorching one, again from Arabic. Perseus, which is holding a star out at arm's length, the name of that star is Al-Rash al-Ghul. We often shorten that to Algol, but Al-Rash al-Ghul comes from the Arabic meaning head of the demon. So that's the head of the Medusa right there. So these are Arabic names for stars, and they kind of go with where people in the past kind of thought when they imagined how these patterns were. Okay. Polaris means pole star from Latin. And so that's a Latin word right there. And so that's the North Star. So the North Star is Polaris. A lot of people think the brightest star in the sky is the North Star. It's not. Sirius is the brightest star other than the sun. And then Polaris just happens to be north, so it's a navigation star. Very important. In the summer, coming up here in a little bit, by the end of the summer, you'll be able to see the star Antares. Antares is a name it's a compound name that comes from Greek. Ares is the Greek god of war, just like Mars is the Roman god of war. And ant means rival or anti or counter to. So Antares means the rival of Ares, like literally the rival of Mars. So what do we know about Mars? Well, Mars is often referred to as the red planet because it's kind of this reddish orange color. Antares is a reddish orange star, almost the same color and almost the same brightness as the planet Mars. And so in fact, this some years ago, Mars happened to be very close to Antares in the sky, and it was like really cool to point this out to people that hey, they're that thing right there and this thing right here. They look just alike. They're both red. They're both about the same color. One's a planet and one's a star. Okay. Now, this way of naming stars we call the proper name. We have Arabic names, we have Latin names, we have Greek names. Different people, even among the Arabic people, different ones named things. They saw the pattern differently, so they named the stars differently. All the bright stars up there have multiple names. Many of them have a whole lot of names. You know, different societies, different cultures name stars differently. Chinese named everything in Chinese. Different parts of China named them differently. Different people in Africa named stars differently in their native languages. So everybody named, the Native Americans named stars, and they named them all according to their own native languages. And so all the bright stars that are up there have a whole bunch of names. We can't keep track of all those names. Trying to is very confusing. And so we got to have some other way of designating them. Okay. Proper names, interestingly enough, weren't even official for a long time. We've been talking about names of stars, but that wasn't even official until 2016. In 2016, they finally made an official list of 125 star names that were agreed upon. They added to that, so as recently as 2019, a little over a year ago, they had added up to 336 official proper names. There are hundreds of other commonly used names, but only these 336 are the official proper names of stars.